now, and I believe we lied. So yo, I'm just saying it's.
Yep.
I'm gonna get this ready too. But yo, it's a them pens. They take you to a different level because you get a. It's like don't they say it's like the more pure situation, like because there's no like, it's just like the, what is it, like the base, like the THC compound just compressed into like a liquid, almost liquid form, like that's
100%.
dope to me. You know
That's
what I mean?
100% what it is. Like
that's freaking dope to me, man.
It's completely that. Like it's either like a full pen of just concentrate, or sometimes they put a bit of flour, but they blend it somehow, and that's, I think, this one I have right now. I think that's what that is. So you get a bit of the flour taste with it, but man, they fuck you up. Like,
yo, and it's you like it's scary too, because it's like, I'm telling you, like just two pulls off the pen, not even no massive pulls, just you just get a nice little inhale, and like it's like you basically took like a either burned a whole J or whatever, like, and it's like you can get that same effect. Okay, on the second pull, don't get me wrong, you might have to take more of a deeper inhale, but I'm just saying, once you do that exhale of like, and it's your first of the day, you're sitting there like, bro, why wasn't I doing this from when I first started? Because it wasn't invented yet. But you know what I mean?
it wasn't the same. It's not near the same as when we first started. When we were, I started when I was 15. So like,
same, Trent, we're the same age, and I was as savage as it is, bro. Like it's revealed. That's revealing information with me too. But yeah, man, I was 14, 15, bro.
So like, so you can just think back the ditchweed we were getting back then compared to what we were starting to get at the end of like high school, and then into like starting to like university and stuff like that. It's just a progression basically, and now it's all legal. It's a whole different story.
No, 100%, and it's dope too, because it's like the fact that you can walk up and down the street burning one of these pens before you can burn one of those pens. Oh, yo, it's just a vape pen. It's just a vape pen. Even though it's the extract. But then now, obviously, you can just be burning. You can be walking on the street burning a joint, hitting a bong, X, Y, and Z. Well, not technically right this second, because that bullshit ass pandemic stay at home order. But I'm saying,
I get what you mean.
You still can technically. But I'm just saying, like, it's wild that you can still do that, bro. It's pretty dope.
Well, do you what? It's even more wild. Is there was a couple months ago, I was smoking with a friend of mine, and she was like, I was like, oh, let's just go out and smoke the joint. She's like, where are we gonna go smoke it? I was like, wherever the hell we want. It's legal now, dude. And she just stopped and went, oh, right, because it's still that like, hey, this is not like, we're still like in that mentality of like, we got to hide this and be out, like we got to be hiding this or whatever. It's like, we don't have to. We can literally walk down the sidewalk, smoke and enjoy. It'd be different if it was like blowing it in kids' faces or whatnot, but like we're just walking down the sidewalk here, whatever.
And that's the thing, Trent. That's what's so dope about it. We have that freedom now, and it's dope because, like, although yes, I understand the prime minister is fucking up and messing up in many different places, but the fact that he at least legalized, in the sense that this is a situation that 85, I want to say like 85% of adults, maybe 70, okay, maybe 75 roughly percent of adults burn it down. You know what I mean? I don't want to say the kids number because I'm not trying to promote nothing like that. But even though regardless, lower. I was gonna say, even though we just like expressed who we are as far as how old we were when we first. But I'm just saying, like, and maybe you're right. Maybe it is lower, Trent. Don't get me wrong.
It is. From what I've come to know, like the younger generation are not like, some of them are, but like, don't get me wrong, but it's not like as thing of like as we were when we were in high school. You know what I mean? Like, it
Trent,
was like,
I'm glad you just said that. I'm glad that you said that.
That's the only way I can put it.
No,
There's
facts.
a lot less of them. Said that.
Because even like with my nephews, like, don't get me wrong, like I catch them in the act as far as like not doing nothing wrong as far as weed or nothing like that. But I'm saying, like, catch them in the act, meaning they may be in a chat group on their PS4 or whatever, and I'm walking into the living room, and one of the little boys in their ear, like, because their headphones are so loud, is yelling like, man, F that, man. That guy was so trash last game. He was shit, man. Saying whatever. And he's like 13, 14, right? So it's like, and I'm not saying my nephews don't swear. I hope they don't. But you know what I mean? As far as just until they understand the full meaning of their words and things like that. You know what I mean?
I grew up in a dressing room, dude. So like, the things I've heard, holy shit.
And that's why it's so scary. Hey, bro, if you can, bro, like, not obviously snitching on the person, but it's like elaborate on that, like in the sense of growing up in some, like us as children, more or less growing up in places where we're not really supposed to be, because like if we have young parents or whatever the case is.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the fact, like, I grew up with my dad and like his like being in like his locker rooms as a kid, and then going from that into like my locker room playing hockey growing up, man. It's
Yeah,
honestly a lot what I've been working on with this whole toxic masculinity thing. It's a fucking breeding ground for it. Just like the shit you hear and stuff. It's just like, whoa. But like at the same time, I was part of it because I didn't know any better. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. And now looking back, I'm just kind of like,
no, and don't get
interesting.
don't get me wrong, bro. Like, and like we were kind of we briefly touched on, and I know we're not experts, but we briefly touched on it like in conversation before. But it's just something I think about, Trent, where I'm like, when they say like us, like men are being toxic, yes, 100% that's the case. That can be the case, and especially we know certain behavior. Not everyone knows the behaviors, but we know certain behaviors that can be deemed as that. But then when you look on the flip side of it, and women being quote unquote toxic, it's like a two-way street, meaning, but we don't necessarily say toxic femininity or whatever, like, you know what I mean, toxic females, toxic women. But, and I'm not saying it in the sense of like, oh, we're wrong, so we should, oh, blah blah blah, they should be wrong too. No, I'm saying from the standpoint of there's correction, like you said, needed on both parts, bro. Like, there might be women who, when they're in their quote unquote dressing room to go play basketball, or dressing room to go play volleyball after or whatever, they might be saying some reckless shit too, right? Like, me being a shorter man, they might be hating on shorter men. Oh man, you short man, da, da, da. I need me a 6'8", da, da, da. And then it's like, is that toxic behavior with them as far as being like shallow or whatever the case is, or acting like that's the only standard of life type of thing? It's a tricky situation, but I'm glad that it's something that you're diving into, and it's something that you're learning about and trying to explore and trying to get rid of within your life, because that
It's
shit is dope.
not just my life. It's just like I'm trying to learn like how to like put this stuff like into my friend group and stuff like that, so we don't have like these fucked up situations. I know none of my friends would be in those situations, but like they'd be like, yo, hey, that's not cool if they saw that in something else they were around, because I know, you know, some of the people in this town. That's all I gotta say.
No, and you're right for that. You're right to do that. But please, sorry, please continue. But no, I'm saying like you're
and
dope for actually doing that, trying to
yeah,
implement that mindset.
yeah, and it's just it's just also it's also kind of like more so working on yourself. It's as much as it's like, yes, this is like a big issue, like you got to work on this for the greater societal good and for like the young females that are coming up and whatnot and all that, but also like for yourself too, for just your own like, I don't even know what the word is other than like self-care and like self-help basically
Oh
with
man,
that,
yo,
like
yeah,
putting
yeah.
putting to like bed a lot of these like burdens we think we've carried around with like us as men, like just some of these like just the box of masculinity we've been put in most of our lives, like we have to do this to be a man. And granted, some of these things have like, I will say some
Like this validity, some of the some of those statements or whatever.
some of them, but in the way in the way they're conveyed, in the way it's like uh reinforced and stuff like that, that's where that's what we mean by toxic masculinity. That's what it is. It's just that, no, men can't cry. You got to be a tough fucking guy. You got to go run through a wall. You got to be a stone wall. You got to be big success, and it's not. It's really all about making your own definition of what a man is, basically. And I know you
Facts.
know that because
No, no, but that's no, but Trent, that's what I'm
you're
saying.
the
I'm
same
glad that
damn
you
way.
elaborate. Yeah. Yeah, it's and that's such a dope mentality to have as far as understanding, yo, there are many different facets of a man. Yes, one has to be strong and a force to be reckoned with and different things like that. But on the flip side, you need to be able to be compassionate, gentle, especially if you have children, because they need to see you as someone who's going to constantly be caring for them, loving them, protecting them, et cetera, opposed to somebody who's you gotta fear them and this, that, and the third, and don't go talk to dad because you know he'll get mad and blah blah blah. You can't have that type of mentality, bro. Like,
Exactly.
because then that's how you breed that quote unquote behavior, right? As far as, in my opinion, if you're gonna say toxic masculinity being like men can't do this, men have to treat women a negative way or whatever, like as far as like certain things projected out there, like, or what you may quote unquote call certain locker room talk. And it's not about saying it, you have to like stop men from being men as far as being able to express themselves, but being able to check them, like put somebody in check when the situation is necessary. Like, hey, bro, we don't do all that or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
You got it, basically.
you know what
You
I mean?
nailed it.
Like, no, because that's in my opinion, that's something like, but that's actually after many years of like growth, right? Like, I'm not ever gonna act like I'm perfect or I know everything. I'm just saying, as far as being more decent, bro, that's something that I've been practicing and preaching and all that. You know what I mean? Because like, I have to just straight up understand, if we're not gonna be the change we want to see, if we're not gonna be the most decent people, and then God, like, if we if we got the opportunity to have children or whatever the case is, or we choose to or whatever, and we want to bring them up quote unquote the right way, it's about letting them know, hey, bro, like, you may be put in certain situations in high school, but that doesn't mean you got to do it. But if you
Exactly.
choose to do it, understand that, yo, bro, you got to live with the consequences in that regard. Like, it's not about saying you'll never get into a high school fight. It's about saying, understand, if you do, you might get kicked out to school, something police wise could happen. It's just letting them know you can do it, but understand there's consequences. Because once you get to that point in the realm of, in my opinion, of communicating with it, like yourself, and letting that, you're being more human. It's not even about being, oh, you got to be the most masculine. You're being like the most humane you can be, in my opinion.
Accountability. That's what you're teaching with that.
Accountability.
And that's, and it goes even farther with that. Like, hey, don't put yourself in a situation where it's like going to be like her word against yours. That's what my mom taught me a long time ago.
That's dope.
So I got out. So I've steered myself away from a lot of fucked up situations like that, just from that mentality, as fucked up as that is. But it's like, don't put yourself in situations where like it's going to be fucked up like that. That's the only way I can describe it. Like,
Oh, but that's, you know how sound advice that is though. Like, and it's about it, like, because even trying to delve a little deeper into that, it's like trying, like, how many different people are put in those situations every day where somebody can just say he XYZ to me, and right then and there, that person has to be arrested, has to be brought in to be questioned, XYZ. The process goes on, and it's
it's
not about
not as
saying that.
prevalent as you think.
No, but
Either
that's
way.
the thing. But that's the thing. We have to remember, in context, we have to remember like which communities these types of situations can be happening in as well. Not saying it's racist, not saying it's about only one culture. I'm saying it happens everywhere.
Point.
But it might not be documented or shown out like as much as one would like it to be. Like, it might not be as shown, like, and that's okay. It might not be as exposed, and that's okay. But I'm just simply saying, from this, like, digging a little deeper on that topic, was just to simply say, like, if we're gonna be teaching men to be men, we have to teach men accountability, and we have to teach men, hey, if you're gonna put yourself in, like your mom said, if you're gonna put yourself in a situation where it's your word against her word, and you get found caught up guilty, you can't say that I'm not trying to warn you, I wasn't trying to tell you these things. Like, you have to be very smart with what you're doing as a quote unquote man,
And
not a male, because not every male is a man. But sorry, what were you saying?
there's consequences for what you do, like,
Yeah,
and there's consequences for things you don't do too, and that's another thing. Like,
facts. That's dope.
that's the worst thing. Like that.
Go a little deeper on that, because I'll give a scenario after you do. If you
Like,
can dive a little deeper.
it's just that, like, it's not the fact, like, guilty by association, that can be a thing too. That's a whole other topic we could get into. But the fact that, like,
Yeah,
if you saw something and didn't do something, that guilt you got to live with, because at the end of the day,
See,
you got to
that's
come home and look yourself in the mirror, and you have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. So
no, but that's exactly what I was gonna say. As far as, you see something happening at a party or something like that, and then it's like, bruh, get up off her or whatever, and you get the dude. You might get into a fight with buddy, but at least you know Shorty wasn't gonna get raped or whatever. Like,
exactly.
I'm not trying to use the R word. YouTube, don't take us down. I'm just saying we got to be direct sometimes, because it's like, bruh, like, there's so many different scenarios where that's, and it's not about, like, back to men, teaching men to be men, because again, not every male is a man. If you're gonna go above and beyond to be like, all right, I'm gonna hurt this woman and make her do what I want, who taught you or did this to you or whatever to make you then internalize it and then try to project that out to You know what I mean? Who got you this angry? At that point, it's unfortunate. Not saying again, back to being raised right, like doesn't mean that you never curse, you never fight nobody. It's just simply saying like, when to be like, all right, let me back off. This is totally not the situation I need to be in. Like a young lady expressed, no, I don't want to talk about X, Y, and Z or do X, Y, and Z with you. Step back, G. It ain't about trying to, I'm for sure getting this tonight. Because at that point, it's like you're going into some dark place in your mind that only you knew how that, how that place got there or whatever.
Exactly.
But that's not about, that's not manhood right there. That's not somebody being a man, right?
Nope.
But
Not at
man, it's just even you exploring about them talking about, like, it's dope though. It's dope that you're learning more about these subjects and trying to express them and trying to let people know like, hey, bro, like, it's all right to do this, and this. That doesn't make you less a man. It's all right to not do this, and you know what I mean? Like, that's dope that you're doing that too. Like, and it's something that I could adopt more as well, as far as like trying to let it be known within more of the people who I speak with, right?
That's the whole point of me doing this, is just to tell one people, they tell another people, and just so on and so forth, so it spreads to everybody, basically.
No, for sure, man.
And the easiest way you can do this is have conversations about this. Tough conversations, awkward conversations.
Yeah,
conversations
man.
that need to be had.
No, and that's dope as fuck. Like, that's what it is, though, man. Hey, it's like we've been put in many situations where if somebody could have guided us or told us, hey, bro, if ever you encounter this, you can do this, but understand there's going to be consequences. So try to do this and steer yourself from. There's many situations that we've been in where we thought like, dang, if I had someone like that, like hopefully I probably would have steered myself. So that's why it's like, you're right, 100%. Having these conversations, hopefully this could reach somebody that wasn't even thinking about it, and then like, wait a minute, I do kind of see that when I'm around my homies, or I do da 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 da. And hopefully on the flip side, some young women can see this and be like, yo, let me talk to my women about this X, Y, and Z. Because it's not always like, sometimes, unfortunately, the way society's set up, the ego is a crazy thing. So it's like guys will sometimes do things to impress friends, or women will sometimes do things to impress friends. And it's like, next thing you know, you're doing all types of out of character stuff, the type of stuff that you're thinking to yourself, damn, like, did I really just do that and embarrass this woman like that? And now the cops are en route to, and everybody knows what I look like because it was on camera. And you find yourself in it's as if you like snap back into yourself, and it's like you weren't having no out of body experience. You just unfortunately traveled to some dark place, and it's like, hey, bro. I'm just saying, there's a lot of different ways that we can be helping out here, and hopefully we can get rid of a little bit of the ego that might fuel this toxic masculinity, fuel this toxic uh, behavior from everyone.
Agreed. Agreed. Completely agreed. And the other thing I just wanted to say real quick, rest in peace, Hank Aaron. He died the other day.
Facts.
The greatest home run hitter in the world. Sorry, Barry Bonds, but he didn't use steroids. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I'm
bro, that's the fact.
I'm a Giants fan. I'm saying that. But yeah, Hank.
Hey, bro.
All right,
hey, bro.
Hammer and Hank.
Yo, man, rest in peace. Like, rest in peace to the legend. It's unfortunate that when these people make the transition, it's like it puts something on your spirit to almost be like, damn, like, back kind of a little bit earlier when I was talking about, like, as far as like when you working where I work or whatever, it's like, yo, man, like, it's a different approach because it just makes you kind of want to, when you wake up, like, oh, yo, let me go fulfill X, Y, and Z. Let me try to do X, Y, and Z today. Let me actually ask this person or talk to this person about this, or say what I wanted to say. Like, because at that point, it's like, what are you holding these types of things in for? You know what I mean? Like, if we genuinely only have this one life,
pretty much,
why be like, oh, it'll get better next year? I'll try that next year. Why put things off when tomorrow's not guaranteed, bro? It's a mystery, right?
Exactly. No, it's completely it's like, it's unfortunate that it's like things like this that make us realize, like we were saying, every day above ground is a good day, and why not today? Because like you said, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and that's something I've been really trying to like stress to a lot of my friends and stuff like that, and people I've talked with who have a lot of like anxiety issues and stuff like that. It's like, your past doesn't matter. because it's not right now. This is the only thing that is guaranteed, is this moment you're sitting in right here. Tomorrow may not happen, so just work with what you've got right now, and then who knows? And if everything goes well, you'll wake up tomorrow and you get to do it all over again.
And that's that's one way. That's one good way of looking at it too. Is like, yeah, we have to understand that, like, we're very privileged. Like, as soon as our eyes open and we draw that first breath and we wait a minute, I'm alive. Okay, let me get up. I know it might be a little earlier than expected, than I wanted to get out of bed, but okay, let me try to get up. Let me try to, and then you start making moves, and it's like, dope. I got the ball rolling. Okay, and now I'm on a roll for the day. And then you start moving, you start doing little things, you start, every little thing you do starts to build up to something bigger throughout the day, and you start to feel more and more productive. And hopefully that sparks more, you know what I mean, as far as the mental health aspect. Hopefully it
Agreed.
sparks more of a good feeling to, like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm doing different things and allowing myself to be productive. I'm feeling good while doing them. I'm appreciating the fact that I'm alive. Hey, bruh, today's a good day. You know what I mean? Like, that's the that's the beauty
That's
of it,
it.
man. Because
Today is a good day. That's the mentality.
I think that's the name of this episode, bro. Today's a good day.
That's the one I was thinking in my head too,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, because it's like, bro, like, hey, we out here. I'm feeling groovy off that. I'm feeling groovy off that perky, off that good herbs. It is what it is, though, bro. Like, it's like, and again, feeling super fortunate. Glad I got to have this conversation with you, bro. We out here,
Amen.
and it's a beautiful thing. Like, we're growing out here, like, as men, and as you know what I mean, podcasters, so to speak. You know what I
Trying.
mean?
I'm trying.
Trying,
It's the
trying.
best I can say.
You know what I mean? But
And
yeah, man.
it all connects back together. Everything has to grow. So like we do this, we do like the seminars and shit and all that I've been doing. That's all it's just self growth. That's all is what it is at the end of the day.
Hey, bro, you put a seed in the soil. You water it every day. You nurture it, and with that care, it should grow into something great, man. It should grow into something beautiful. So it's like, take your time and do what you're doing. I'm glad I'm on a similar path. I'm glad that my friend groups like you and different people are taking their time and growing and trying to uplift themselves, bruh. I'm telling you, us growing as men, this is dope, and I'm very happy to see it. But yo, so to the people out there watching, just know it's all good, bro. Like, take your time and grow. Just like me and my homie here, my homie Trent, we taking our time, we getting it going.
Sorry, I heard a crash out there.
No, hey, I know. Hopefully it's okay. Hopefully whoever that was is okay. But yeah, man. So I'm signing out, yo. I'm Graham, bro. This is my
I'm
boy.
Trent.
Yes, sir. Yes. And we out, man. We out. It's all love.
Always.
Dope, man.
Bam. Ooh.